What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined by my dad, Sean, and it is time for episode 3 of our top 5 albums of the year draft series. Dad, we are up to 1967, another loaded year.
Man, I think all these years are going to be loaded from here on up for quite some time, Trey. But if you're brand new to this series, go check out 65 and 66 after this. I'll link the playlist on the end screen. Also, guys, just a little how we did this. Somebody gets the first pick, which in this draft, it was me. And then Trey gets the second and third pick. Then I get the fourth and fifth and so on. So it's actually a top 10 list. It's top 5 for each of us.
All right, man. Well, with that said, Dad, you get first pick up here. A lot of great choices. What are you going with?
Well, Trey, we have over 60 Beatles videos up, and I'm sure most people look at this list and go, it's a no-brainer. It's Sgt. Pepper's, and I'll tell you what, those people would be wrong because I actually went with the Magical Mystery Tour. Now,
I like it.
We violated our own rules. I say this all the time when I mention this because we always go with UK versions, and this is the only album where we didn't go with the UK version because it's an EP, and it's got all the singles. Of course, it's got the title track. It's got Hello, Goodbye, Penny Lane, Strawberry Fields, I Am the Walrus, even a very underrated Blue Jay Way.
That's
We're
right,
hang
man.
out in the mountains and wait for our friends to get here. And of course, All You Need Is Love. So for me, it actually took my number one spot.
So with my first pick, man, I'm going the Velvet Underground and Nico, man. The debut record from the Velvet Underground. Obviously, you got the iconic Andy Warhol banana cover there. And I just, I think this is one of the great debut records of all time.
I agree 100%.
The way it just has that Lou Reed grittiness, talking about a lot of some taboo type subjects, a lot of sexual stuff, the violence in there too. I think the song Heroin is one of the great tracks of the 60s.
Oh yeah, I agree.
The guitar work here, especially towards the end, you kind of really get to lean into that experimental side of the Velvet Underground with the distortion and kind of just wildness of European Sun, which encapsulates, I think, a lot of what the band did. You also have I'm Waiting for the Man, I'll Be Your Mirror. You have the great Nico on here, who didn't quite make my list, but she has an honorable mention for one of her records, which we'll touch on later. So that was my first pick. My second pick is going to be the great Jimi Hendrix Experience. Are You Experience? Going with the U.S. version, Dad. We have on the U.S. version Purple Haze, Hey Joe, of course. This is the first record that I listened to from the great Jimi Hendrix Experience. And man, I've been hooked ever since. Just that type of album that's front to back, just loaded. You have fire. You even have the spacey Third Stone from the Sun, which is fantastic. Foxy Lady, of course, gets a lot of airplay. Manic Depression, and even the title track ends us off and is one of Hendrix's more underrated tunes. So a lot of powerhouse records going, Dad, and I know we haven't even touched on probably the most iconic record of the year.
Yeah, and that'll be my second pick. Although I will say this, I would have taken the Velvet Underground and Nico after Magical Mystery Tour. That would have been my second pick. So my second pick of what I'm left with is, of course, the iconic Sgt. Pepper's 8th studio album, A Day in the Life. I mean, that's hard to beat, period. She's leaving home. But it also has When I'm 64, Fixing a Hole, and Lovely Rita. Not that those are horrible songs, but it's what knocked it below the Magical Mystery Tour for me. Obviously, as far as being iconic and influential, you could put this album at number 1. I totally get that. But we're talking about what we think are the best quality. So that's my second pick. Then my third pick, the debut album from The Doors.
Man, just loaded year.
Ray Manzarek going to hammer that organ, which brings it down just a little bit for me, even though Ray later on dialed that back a little bit. But obviously, Morrison's charisma, the songwriting is sometimes great and sometimes just interesting, but he had all these poetry books, so he was able to pick the best of the best. So Light My Fire, Break On Through are the highlights on that one. What do you got for your third?
Well, yeah, and just touching on The Doors, I think Break On Through is one of the great opening songs of all time. Also, the end, of course.
It's one of the great ending songs of all time.
Just fantastic. And hey, you even got like some underrated cuts like 20th Century Fox in there. Just watch out for that whiskey bar, right?
Whiskey bar, man. I'm telling you.
Well, that takes me now. I'm looking at my team here. I got some experimental type of rock with some Velvet Underground. I got my psychedelic with the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Now I need a singer-songwriter record, so we're gonna cue up the 30-year-old Leonard Cohen, man. Take it back to his debut record. A lot of debuts on my list. We got Songs of Leonard Cohen, which is just a record that's packed front to back with just some of the great, songwriting feats of the 60s, in my opinion. We start this with one of Leonard's more famous tunes, Suzanne, and he touches a lot on these kind of muses at times in this record and just talking about people in his life. We have the song Master Song, which details a love triangle and a lot of religious imagery, and some of those songs about a woman. We have So Long Marianne, yet again another one of his more famous tunes, and Sisters of Mercy, which he wrote in one night whenever he took in some of these religious women and just let them stay at his place on a very cold night. So then we have the closer, One of Us Cannot Be Wrong, ends with a very cathartic chant at the end. Just a lovely record with a pretty strong vocal performance by Leonard as well.
Yeah, I remember you telling me when you listen, it's much different than some of the later stuff, kind of akin to Tom Waits, where the voice, gets a little different over the years. So what do you got as your fourth pick?
Well, my fourth pick, man, I am going to cue up a band that you have chosen. I'm going with Strange Days by The Doors, man. I think this is The Doors at their most consistent. If you made me pick my favorite Doors record, I might land at this one. Wow. I actually prefer it to the Doors debut, though it doesn't have the iconic songs.
I went back and forth on it. You're not far off on that. I definitely went back and forth on it.
I think it's closer than maybe the rock canon has led you to believe throughout the years. Because, this thing has the opening title track, Your Lost Little Girl. We have the People Are Strange, which is one of my favorite.
And we quote that all the time.
And a lot of these songs, Dad, are, just a little over 2 minutes.
Yes.
Save for the closer, man, when the music's over 11 minutes long.
They like them long closers, baby.
Just an unbelievable display of musicianship. We have Love Me Two Times and Moonlight Drive, which is great. And even the Horse Latitudes type of track, which shows the wild nature of Morrison, man. So this record has a little bit of everything, and that it's gonna be my fourth pick here.
Well, my fourth pick is also an artist that you had.
Okay.
We have Jimi Hendrix, Axis Bold as Love. The second studio album. This came out only 7 months after Are You Experience, which is insane. My highlights for me, Castles Made of Sand, Spanish Magic Castle. It's all about the castles.
Dude, that's right. The Little Wings on here as well.
Little Wings is on here as well. Just a fantastic album. And I would have chose Are You Experience, but you already chose it. But I don't think his 3 albums are separated by just a ton in my book for the Jimi Hendrix Experience. So got to have Hendrix on there. And then do you have any comments that you're a Hendrix guy?
I was just going to say, I'm glad you showed it love, because this is definitely the record that gets talked about least from the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Of the 3, you got obviously the debut and then
Electric
Ladyland, but this one kind of gets lost in the shuffle in the middle when talking about the great records, and I'm glad you just gave it its due, man.
Yeah, and my last pick, my fifth pick, we got Love, Trey. Forever Changes.
That was on my short list.
Yeah, man. Third studio album. Final by their original lineup. 154 in the U.S., 24 in the U.K. So just another band, and we're going to have tons of these artists throughout these countdowns who never made it really during their time, and only much later was it given its due. Neil Young was actually going to co-produce this album, but
interesting.
He backed out. So Arthur Lee put it all out there. Label mates The Doors were already getting all the attention. Alone Again, which we have a song reaction up to that's in a battle. The album opener sets the tone for this fantastic and consistent album.
No, man, and yet again, I think Love, they just do a great job of being able to blend the psychedelic with the pop, with the rock elements, and making it into their own unique sound. So that was going to be my next pick if you didn't take it. So now I'm going to go with another record that I think is a bit underrated or overlooked in a sense. I'm going with Tim Buckley's Goodbye and Hello. It encapsulates that spirit of the day, Dad, in this
great choice.
Late 60s period. I do enjoy the album cover as well. Buckley's got that strong songwriting ability and also is able to seamlessly blend kind of the folk and psychedelic genres together. Unique guitar playing style on this as well, and a voice that stands out amongst the crowd. Some of my favorites here are Once I Was, Pleasant Street, and No Man Can Find the War. for just a record that I don't hear much discussion of, but Tim Buckley, man, a great artist, as of course his son was
of course.
as well.
And the people who love Tim, though, they really do love him.
No, exactly, man. So I'm looking at my board here and liking it. Before we get to the recap, though, some honorable mentions, and we came up with a lot of them, man, because it's just such a loaded year with a lot of seminal releases. Got the Byrds, Younger Than Yesterday. Yep. Byrds covered on the channel. Did a top 10 of them.
Definitely.
I know recently. A great group. Cream, a group that appeared on your 66 list.
It did.
Disraeli Gears, probably their most iconic record.
For sure.
Just missed the cut, as did another great psychedelic record, Jefferson Airplane, Surrealistic Pillow. We got the Kinks with Something Else, with maybe one of the songs of you could argue the song of the year, and Waterloo Sunsets on that.
People in the UK would argue that.
Yeah,
sure.
We got a little early Pink Floyd, Syd Barrett era, Dad. We reviewed the record.
We did.
Piper at the Gates of Dawn. I know wasn't in your running, but
no, it was not in my running. I know there's a group of people that love that more than they love the later stuff.
No, as I mentioned, Nico came out with the record
Yeah.
Chelsea Girl, which is fantastic. Aretha Franklin, I Never Loved a Man the Way I Loved You, has Respect on it, among many other great soul tunes. And then The Who, Sell Out, a bit of a concept record, Dad. And then Moby Grape's self-titled is also a great psychedelic record and experience. But looking at both our lists, Dad, I think this has probably been the as great as 65 and 66 were. 67, it just shows you we kind of took even a bigger step up.
I agree 100%. Yeah, and I think it's interesting looking at our list that 2 of the 5 artists are the same for us with the Doors and Jimi Hendrix.
No,
so it might come down to that. I know there's a big grouping of Beatles fans who may pick my list because of the Beatles, or they may not pick it because I didn't pick Peppers first, so I don't know how that's going to roll.
No, man. But looking at this, I'm excited to see what people are going to say. Who came out on top? Be sure to let us know, ladies and gentlemen, in the comments if you think myself or Sean took the dub, and let us know your favorites of 67, man. And I guess, Dad, that'll kind of wrap it up from here today. We got 68 on the horizon now.
Yeah, it's not going to get any easier. That is for darn sure, man. So we appreciate everybody joining us. These are going to premiere every single Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time. There'll be a countdown to the premiere. I'm in the chat. I'll chat with you if you want to chat about the choice. If you want to yell at me about Peppers, come on, man. You can do all those things. But every Friday for, I guess, basically about the next year, Trey. We're going all the way through 2021, so it's going to be a fun one.
No, absolutely, man. Looking forward to it. And be sure to check out our Patreon page where you can vote for one of these records. It's going to be on our listening party on this upcoming Thursday, so that's going to be a fun time as well. But until next time, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Happy listening, and we will see ya.